Good evening, Lowdown Nation. This is Matt, and we are live. We are currently streaming on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. And tonight it is my distinct pleasure to have with me the lead vocalist and bassist for Atlanta metal band Buried Within. Before we get started, I do also want to make a quick mention that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And for those of you that are struggling in any way with any sort of mental health issue, it is okay to not be okay. And it is okay to seek and get the help that you need. I'm also tonight sipping on tea from Seven Essence Teas and my good friend and fellow rocker, Bubble. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in Harrison, who is the lead singer, and Mason, who is the bassist.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. I can't complain at all. Just a moment. There we go. I had the screen a little discombobulated. But anyway, we'll just go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of this. Since I'm talking to two of you, I'm going to be asking you guys the same question, and that is, I know that Harrison, you're the vocalist, but I know you're also a drummer, and Mason, you're the bass player. So, how long have you guys each been playing music of each of your specialties? And have you ever taken lessons, or are you both pretty much self-taught?
I'm going first. So I'm Harrison, the vocalist for Buried Within. I play drums too. I play drums in a band called Bible Belt Massacre. About to drop our next single this month, our first single. I've been playing drums since 2018. I picked up a kit after watching Tommy Lee from Motley Crue play. That's kind of what got me really interested, just his style and all that. And of course, now I'm into heavier stuff. And then with vocals, I started trying to learn vocals in 2020 during COVID. I just got really bored and started getting into like Alice in Chains a lot, and I was really inspired by Lane Staley, and so I was trying to mimic that. And then I found Motionless in White and Slipknot, and that kind of sent me down the heavier path of music. And that's when I started trying to learn to do heavy vocals. And I was pretty much just self-taught, just kind of watching YouTube videos and a lot of trial and error, blowing out my voice. But I still keep practicing and feel like I can always get better. So, Mason?
Okay. So I've been playing guitar for about probably 3 years, and I've been playing bass guitar for about 2.5. I like playing like a bunch of stringed instruments. I play upright bass, ukulele, classical guitar, all that. I haven't really been trained like on the bass. I've gotten a lot of like classical training about music theory and all that, but none like bass related. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. So, as Mason, as far as your bass playing goes, do you primarily go finger style, or do you use a pick, or is it situational?
So I really don't use a pick. There's maybe some times where I will, like if I'm recording, to get a more like even signal. But if I'm playing live, I mostly just use 3 fingers because it's a lot easier to me than using a pick.
Right. Like you, I'm a converted guitarist, and I'm still having struggles with fingerstyle because I'm just so used to having a pick. It just feels weird playing a stringed instrument and not using a pick. So that's a personal struggle of mine, but I'm hoping to get more adept with fingerstyle, as time goes on. But we'll see. So, tell me, both of y'all about your current gear and live setup. What do you play? What do you play through? Do you use any particular effects? That kind of thing.
You go first. So.
Okay. So right now I'm using a Music Man Stingray bass. It's a 5-string, and I also have, but that's in like drop A. So all the notes are natural notes. And I have this other bass made from this Polish guy. I looked it up, found it on Reverb, bought it. It's in drop A sharp, or it's all sharp notes. That's what it's tuned to. And I run that into a bass whammy pedal to detune it, and also do dive bombs, stuff like that. That goes into my tuner, and it goes into a dark glass distortion pedal, a V1K, I believe it's called. And that goes out into my noise suppression pedal. And then through all that, it goes into my Rumble 100, I believe, by Fender. And I like the tones it gets from that.
Nice. What about you, Harrison? You're a vocalist, so your equipment is not necessarily as as extravagant as, but do you use anything in particular, any particular microphone, or as far as your drums, you could give some detail about that, I suppose.
Yeah, with vocals, it's just usually a 58. Whatever the venue has. I have my own 58, but I haven't gotten anything fancy. Yeah, drums. I have a Pearl Export series. It's black. I got it at Goodwill for like $100, and I cleaned it up and pieced it together. Just bought it. It came with everything except one tom. So I found a Pearl Export series tom, and I kind of just been building it. I got some Iron Cobra pedals. I like Zildjian cymbals a lot. Pasty. That's about it. Drumsticks. I break so many, so I just decide to get cheap ones because a 3-pair packet Guitar Center is way overpriced for Vic Firth, so it's like I might as well just buy these cheap ones I know I'm going to break anyway.
Right. So this is a question directed to you, Mason, and I ask this to all of the bass players, and it's just always an interesting question. How often do you change strings?
So I usually change bass strings either like before I like giant gig that we're going to play. That'll boost us up a lot, but mostly it's like every 5 months.
Right.
Keep them sounding new.
Right. I always ask that because bass strings are not cheap.
No, they are not.
I mean, you practically have to take out a second mortgage to restring your bass. So, yeah. So, what are some of your musical influences?
So mine, I started out basically on like classic rock, and progressed until it got heavier and heavier, and then I plateaued a little bit, and now I'm just listening to like a bunch of prog stuff, a bunch of prog classic rock, prog metal, all that stuff.
What kind of bands think you listen to right now?
So I'm listening to like obviously Rush. This one band called Atheist. Switch time signatures a lot. I don't know. I usually just have like a prog mix playlist that I just put on. Try to play along to that.
Gotcha. I find myself listening to a lot of prog as well. I love Dream Theater. And some of the tricky time signature changes in a lot of their stuff is just amazing. So,
Um,
and what about you, Harrison?
So growing up, I kind of just listened to whatever was on the iPod at the time, whatever was downloaded. A lot of music, like movie soundtracks,
Mm-hmm.
like especially my younger years, like Hans Zimmer, anything Hans Zimmer. Um, the guy who does Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I can't remember his name right now for some reason.
John Williams.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Williams. I was blanking out. Yeah, just really liked movie soundtracks, Pirates of the Caribbean, like stuff like that. And then when I got older, I got into like classic rock. But my first like real, I listened to a lot of Linkin Park growing up because the Transformers movies were big,
Right.
and I was into that. But my first like when I really got into metal and rock was like hair metal and a lot of the '70s and '60s bands. Like I love Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and Motley Crue kind of sent me down the path of just full metalhead, and then now I'm listening to stuff like Paleface Swiss, Slaughter to Prevail. There's a band I like right now called Wrist Meet Razor, and yeah, I just like breakdowns a lot.
Who doesn't? So, and this is a question for both of you guys. What was the very first concert you went to as a fan?
So the first one I went to, I don't remember how long ago this was, but it was a Van Halen tribute band, and I could not hear for like a week after.
My first concert was I had never been to a concert before COVID. No, never mind. I've never been to a concert before 2019, and in 2019, I went to see Sebastian Bach.
Oh, nice.
From Skid Row, but it was just like him as a solo artist. But they played all the Skid Row songs. And then after that, I didn't go to any concerts for like a year and a half because of COVID. And then my first concert back from COVID was Motionless in White at Masquerade in Atlanta.
Nice. What I'm going to do real quick is pop over to the Instagram tab and just see if anybody's saying anything in the chat over there.
Awesome.
No. We've Jade's in there from the Bible Belt Massacre, and we've got a couple of other folks in there, but not much going on in chat right now. So, in the course of your musical careers, have you guys had the chance to meet any of your musical heroes?
You?
So I saw Cannibal Corpse when they were playing in Atlanta. I forget the venue name, but I didn't have the chance to meet their bassist, Alex Webster.
Mm-hmm.
That was basically the only big show I went to where I could meet my influences.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Motionless in White Werewolf video.
Oh, that's cool.
I flew to LA and I met Chris Motionless. He was the only one I talked to out of the guys. But yeah, I think that's the only person I've gotten to really meet and talk with.
Well, that's cool. Did you have a good experience with him?
Oh yeah, he's really nice, super nice guy. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't talked to him yet, but I will whenever this is done. I'm going to go talk to Dan Sugarman from Ice Nine Kills on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But other than that, no.
That's very cool. So, away from music, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
So I like repairing guitars, like taking them apart, rebuilding them, making them sound different.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like doing stuff outdoors, camping, hiking. I really like video games. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed nerd. I play that game religiously. Uh, I just like, I mean, outside of playing music, I just like to go to shows a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're about to get into the segment of things where we're going to be talking more about the band. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to play about 30 seconds of one of your songs just so people get a taste of what you guys sound like. So I'm going to I basically found on YouTube a video for a song called Immortal Support that I'm going to play about the first 30 seconds of. So I'm just going to share my screen and we will do that. And
You're at home watching this. Start a circuit quick. Hell yeah.
so anyway, like I said, I just wanted people to have a quick taste of what you guys sound like. So tell me about Buried Within. You know, how long have you guys been together? How did the band form? Where did the name come from? That kind of stuff.
So originally, me and my buddy Luke, who plays guitar, we were in a band, and I was the drummer in that band, and we never did anything. We were just kind of jamming. This was in late 2021, and then we met Ryder from school, or I met Ryder from school, and he was 14 at the time, and he's just really good drummer, like really good for his age, really good in general. He's just a killer on blast beats and double bass and everything. Really tight. So we're really lucky we found him. We started a project with a couple other people and wrote a couple songs, and we've had a bunch of lineup changes, but then we decided to form Buried Within in January of 2022 or 2023. And so we had a bass player. His name's Jack Melquist. He left the band, but he helped write Immortal Support. And he is in a band called Forget Your Name, which Mason is also the bassist in. So we're all good buddies. And but yeah, we got Mason and Wes, our other guitar player. They joined the band in September of last year. And the name Buried Within actually came from a song that we had written, me and Luke wrote, called Buried Within. And when we were trying to figure out a band name, we were just like, well, Buried Within sounds good. Because we were throwing around a bunch of ideas and nothing was sticking. And we were like, oh, well, this actually sounds good as the band name. So we got the band name from the song. It was just something that popped into my head when I wrote the song. It was like, if you listen to the lyrics, you'll understand. But it's like, you know, what are you made of? What are you made of? What's buried within you? What's your soul? Who are you? So that's what we got that from. Plus, we wanted to go with the whole like spooky come back from the dead thing. You know, graveyards, and we like spooky metal and spooky themes, so we try to put that in our music.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I was when you were talking about having a song called "Buried Within." I was just thinking about the band Bad Company, and them, having a song called "Bad Company."
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you're in good company with having a song, and the band have the same name. So you kind of answered my next question, which was, do you play in any other bands or side projects? I mean, I knew that you played in Bible Belt Massacre, and I just found out that you play in Forget Your Name. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a question actually for Mason. Bass players are generally in partnership with the drummer as the rhythm section for a band. Talk a little bit about your relationship with the drummer in Buried Within, and kind of how that goes. What's the process with y'all locking in with each other?
So I mainly focus on the kick, but also me and the drummer, we met in school. We're pretty good
Mm-hmm.
friends. We have a class together this semester. And so, yeah, there's a lot of like locking in outside of like music, if that makes any sense.
Right, it does.
But also, like, I played with him so much, there's like more of a connection.
That's cool. That's cool. So, tell me about the songwriting process within Buried Within. Is there a primary writer, or is it pretty collaborative? How does that go?
Me and Luke have been at the primary songwriters. With Ryder just comes up with drum parts. A lot of the stuff we've written and released so far was written almost 2 years ago, and it's just taken a long time to get it produced.
Right.
We've had to re-record a handful of songs 2 or 3 times because just like ex-band members bad takes, or a producer, you know something came up and they couldn't finish it, and just we finally got in a situation where we can write everything. So Mason and Wes didn't join the band until like late last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just now kind of started writing new stuff with Mason and Wes, but it is very collaborative now. But in the beginning, it was a lot of just me and Luke writing. So you're gonna see coming up, you'll see a lot of like drastic sound changes with Buried Within, because our music taste has evolved in the last 2 years. Um, we've become better players in the past 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
it's more technical. Um, we're we've In the beginning we leaned a lot towards metalcore and just very melodic stuff. You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of see the influence. Some Moral Support is very like Bullet for My Valentine esque, Bring Me the Horizon, but the stuff we're writing currently is more deathcore, hardcore, slam. We also like to mix in other genres. We have one song that will be coming out later this year that has a jazz intro,
Oh, that's cool.
but it has when it kicks in, it's very almost black metal with some of the riffing, and so there's a lot of musical influence, and we're trying to, as the band goes on, incorporate more and more genres within metal and outside of metal, because we just like a lot. So you'll see. I think we're in a really strong place songwriting wise now that we've got Mason and Wes, and it is getting more collaborative, because I think that as the five of us, we actually come up with some pretty good stuff. There's some more ideas being thrown around. I don't know, Mason. What do you think?
So usually it's like someone comes up with a riff, we build up on it, then like we have a good basis for a song right there. I don't know. You basically said all of it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep our song structures very simple so that people can kind of follow along. Because I think in order to really gain a good following and appeal to a mass amount of people, you have to have simple, strong structure or just very catchy riffs. It doesn't have to be necessarily super melodic. I do like a lot of melody. A lot of the songs we've written, I just had vocal melodies in my head for choruses, and then we just built everything around that. But as we kind of write more, it gets more complicated and more technical and more intense. We like intensity. We like putting a lot of emotion into it, and we think, at least I think personally, that the heaviness of a song is not always how brutal it is, but how what kind of emotions it can evoke. Uh,
Absolutely.
Whether it's being hyped or being sad or angry or excited, like as long as you can get people to feel those emotions, that's what's heavy to me.
That's awesome. So is Buried Within anything approaching a full-time thing? And if not, talk about your day jobs.
I mean,
Um, no, it's not a full-time thing. We try to right now our goal is to play at least one or two shows a month, if not more. Um, Mason and Ryder are still in school, um, in high school. I'm in college. I'm a full-time college student, and I work a lot. Luke is actually I work at a pizza place. Luke works at he builds airplane and like helicopter sets for movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, his dad's a pilot, so they live in a hangar, which is where we practice a lot, like a private hangar, which is a great practice space. We filmed our music video out there. Um, but yeah, I mean, Wes just got a job as a stagehand for a production company. Um, the goal is to eventually not have to do a lot of day jobs. We want to just make music our full-time thing. So we're really trying to grind right now to build a following and put out good music. And I think one of the things we really kind of struggle with is like trying to get something out, but not rushing it, making sure it's absolutely perfect and just putting the every amount of effort into how something sounds and how it turns out. So
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, what are you studying in college?
I'm a film major.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, my other passion is like movies. I really want to do music videos and movies as well as music.
Very cool. So, if you can name just one or two little anecdotes, what have been some of the most interesting experiences you've had playing live?
Mason, you want to go first?
I mean, I'll say like some of the venues are a lot more unexpected than where we thought we would play.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a lot of fun moments playing, where like something you didn't like plan beforehand happens on stage. You're like, hey, that looks pretty cool looking back on it.
A couple weeks ago, we were playing a show and we were in a literal closet, and we were all really cramped together like sardines. And my hair got tangled in Wes's tuners on the top of his guitar,
Oh, yikes.
and that was fun. I had to rip it out because my hair is super curly, and whenever I headbang a lot and sweat, it's a mess. So that happened. One time, I jumped off stage and hit my head on the back of the stage at Furnace, and you could hear it through the mic. It was just like a big thud. That was pretty funny. Um, I don't know. We try to do. I'm really crazy. Like one time we played a bar, and I got on the bar and jumped off the bar during the breakdown, and I bust my butt a lot. I always have the worst. I'm so sore after a show, my neck, because I get all the adrenaline, and I just get crazy. But um, yeah, that's probably the craziest things that have happened.
Gotcha.
It's a fun time.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. So, what, and this is for each of you, what is your favorite Buried Within song to play live?
My favorite's probably, I'm gonna go with Burn. I like how heavy it is, how fast paced it is. It's just a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, that was gonna be my answer. Burn. That one is unreleased, but I do believe we are getting in the studio real soon to record it, and we should be dropping that this summer. And it is very heavy and very different from the last two songs we've dropped, and it is very fun to play.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, before you guys go on live, do you have any pre-show traditions, any things that you do consistently before you go on? Like using the metaphor of athletics. Some like basketball players will unlace their shoes and relace them before they go out to play a game. Do you guys do anything consistently before you go on?
Usually we try to practice the day of before the gig, just so we're already kind of warmed up.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, we just try to drink a lot of water so we don't pass out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so you guys are from Noonan, Georgia. So what is your favorite thing about Noonan?
What do you think?
I really like downtown Noonan. It's this one place I go to. It's like a music shop and a skate shop called Vinyl Records. And inside there's a part where it's called Brown's Guitar Mill. And they'll like build any guitar you want for a pretty reasonable price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I gotta say, the taco shops. There's a lot of taco shops in Noonan, and I love tacos. Authentic tacos.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna pop back over to the Instagram tab real quick and see if anybody's saying anything. No, not really. So, this is a question to both of you guys. If you could give any advice now, knowing what you know now, any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Yes, please go first.
So I'd probably say just like start like playing a lot earlier, because I started playing instruments and got into music a lot later than most people. But yeah, if I started a lot earlier, I'd be obviously a lot better.
My younger self, practice way more. And don't cheap out. You can do things fast and cheap, and you're gonna lose quality. You can do them fast and quality, and it's not gonna be cheap. Or you can do them, yeah, like don't cheap out. It's worth the money to do something right and really put the effort into it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Save your
So,
money.
yeah. So, do you guys have any suggestions for any other up and coming bands to check out, or potentially to reach out to try to set up one of these live stream chats?
Yeah, I would say Forget Your Name Band
Mm-hmm.
or Fatal Attractions.
Okay.
Can you think of anyone?
There's one band. I got a friend in it. It's called Sandalwood Station.
Okay.
You can check it if you like classic rock.
Awesome.
Yeah, I believe you've done an episode with First One Dies already, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched that. Give Me Oblivion.
Give Me Oblivion. Okay.
I would check them out.
Very cool. Yeah. It's always fun asking that question because, the music communities are so tightly knit that you really get some good references. And, I've gotten several of these live stream chat bookings just based on, one band's recommendation of another. So, I mean, and within these music scenes, I mean, yeah, the bands to some extent are in competition with each other for gigs and such, but there's generally such a supportive element to the whole thing that I just find that really cool, how supportive the bands within these scenes are of each other in general.
Oh yeah, I think if you view it as a competition, you're in the wrong mindset. I think that a lot of us are just lovers of music, especially heavy music, and we want to play shows together and set up things and have a good time.
Right. Well, we're getting toward the end now, and one of the things I've done from the start is basically I allow a previous guest to pose a question for one of the future people being talked to in one of these. And so Justin Stupplebean, who is the bass player for a band up in Albany, New York, called the Phoenix and the Raven, posed this question, and that is, for you and your band, what would be a dream show lineup for you to open for?
I've got to say, Motionless in White, Paleface Swiss. What do you want?
Might as well do one of the
Slipknot?
Yeah.
Slipknot.
Nice. And since this is a series, do you guys have a question or questions that you would like to ask the next person in the hot seat?
You got anything?
Probably something like, what do you do to get over like imposter syndrome?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're up there, but you don't really deserve to be up there. Yeah. Actually, my next guest is going to be Tuesday night. I've got a guy named Dempsey Mills who he's basically a multi-instrumentalist, and he's the driving force behind a Christian atmospheric metal project called Vials of Wrath. And his stuff is really interesting. It's based on his faith, but it's also based on his observations of nature and everything. So it's I'm actually really excited to talk to him. So that'll be Tuesday night. So aside from the stuff that I've got going in the ticker and the stuff you have on Instagram, do you guys have any other social media you want to hype really quick, or any upcoming shows or things like that you want to give some hype to?
Yes, sir. We're playing the Masquerade in Atlanta Thursday, May 16th. That's in like a week and a half. And then also go check out our music video. It's linked in our link tree on Instagram. You can also find it on YouTube at Buried Within Vivo, and it's on Apple Music as well.
Nice. So, I truly thank you both for taking the time to do this. I know you need to get going and go talk to Dan Sugarman. So I'll let you guys get going. And anyway, like I said, thank you for all of you that have been watching this. Thank you for everybody that's going to watch this on replays. Thank you for that. If you like what we're doing here, give us a follow, spread the word, all that good stuff. There's some exciting stuff coming on the 14th. I'm doing my first new music spotlight show. I've got actually First One Dies coming on to talk about Black Flame, their song that just came out recently. I've got a band from South Carolina called Ansira that's coming on they're actually coming on in a pre-recorded segment to talk about a song they've got dropping on the 10th. And then I've got a band from Kansas City called Scarlet View, and their bass player is going to be coming on to talk about a song that's dropping on the 10th of theirs called The Chase. And then actually the following week, he's coming back on to do one of these live stream chats. So anyway, a lot of cool stuff's coming. But anyway, thank you guys. And one other thing I'll make note of, I've got some Lowdown with Matt merch coming that you'll be seeing in some upcoming live streams and such. So if you're interested in any of that, it'll be available. I'll have details when it comes in. But anyway, thank you guys, and everybody have a great night.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Yep.